Oh, 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 oh. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Nikki. I'm just another brown girl in America. If this is your first time here, welcome. I am your friend. Now you are my friend. All you got to do is hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and then we'll be solid from here on out. If this your second time here, if this your second time here, welcome back. If you have not already, please like and subscribe. Comment in the comments, get the videos going. I want to start going live, but we got to get this account going. But other than that, what I want to talk about is DEI. I ran across a video that I was watching from Jubilee, and Jubilee has these round tables where they'll put like different issues. They'll put one opposing person surrounded by 20. So right now we have one liberal surrounded by 20 Trump supporters. And I want to highlight a couple of things in this video. Of course, we're not going to watch the whole video, but I did want to react to something in this video, a couple of things in this video. One in this video is, do we need DEI? Is DEI still needed? Is it a good thing or is it a bathroom and a bad thing? And of course, with all of the hype and the backlash from the Trump administration getting rid of DEI and federal agencies, people are upset. So what I want you to do is drop it in the comments. Let me know, do you think we need DEI? Do you think we don't anymore? But without further ado, they made some good points, and I just kind of want to react to this. So with that being said, let's get to it.
Good. How you doing?
Okay, when it comes to DEI, essentially, if a person was not racist, he would hire someone regardless, right? So why would we need a policy to protect a person if we've moved past racism? So would you consider yourself racist?
Wait, are you suggesting we've moved past racism?
Would you consider yourself racist?
I consider myself, and sometimes I think we all practice like some form of, white supremacy. I think actually like we all do to some degree.
Well, I'm glad that you're saying that. So
Okay, I'm sorry. I ain't gonna keep stopping. I'm gonna let it go through so we can get through the video. But whenever you hear me talk about that white guilt or a lot of the policies that's hurting the Black community, it comes from white liberal women or men with white liberal women views. They don't even realize these views come from white liberal women with the white guilt syndrome. They have created this narrative and essentially have a lot of liberals, a lot of Democrats, Caucasian, suffer from white guilt. Not only do they suffer from TDS, they suffer from white guilt. And I do not think white guilt is a good thing for society.
I guess going to the LGBT topic, it seems like it's very prevalent for you as an issue.
Well, it seems like a big issue. I mean, the Republican Party spent literally hundreds of millions of dollars demonizing trans people.
Well, the reason why they've done something like that, and I think you're misconstruing the narrative, they haven't demonized them. They simply want protections back for their own children, because children are being stripped away from their parents.
Who's their own children? Wait, children are being stripped away from their parents?
Yes, due to AB 954, they've now included gender identity as a premise to remove and strip parental rights for children who maybe they are rejecting their gender ideology.
So, but you'd be okay with parents who agree?
So in layman's terms, basically what he's saying is that they have made it to where if you don't affirm your child, what they call gender affirming care, which is what he's talking about, which is essentially mutilating children, cutting off their body parts, transitioning them as young as 5, 3, 6, 7, 8, 12. So what he's saying is that now you heard of DHS, DFS, Division of Family Services, abuse. Now they have it to, if you don't affirm your child in some states and some places or had, you can get CPS called on you. And they will take your child, the government, because you did not agree with that far radical left agenda.
With their children's doctors to provide gender-affirming care.
I do not agree with that. Do you?
I believe that parents and doctors can make those decisions with the kids,
If
of
a
course.
child can't smoke, drink, or have sex before the age of 18, they should not be able to consent to a sex change. Now, in
Well,
terms of
I
a
don't know that
DEI
they can,
initiative, the reason why there's military bans on trans women and trans men is because they do not have the ability to cooperate at a mental capacity when they're constantly undergoing hormone treatment, as well as depression pills, as well as different mood stabilizer pills. And so when you go out to combat, do you really think you're going to bring an ice cooler pack with your whether that be hormone estrogen or whatever it may be, while you're about to shoot someone of the opposing war?
Well, the executive orders that Trump gave.
Now, I didn't know that. Now, I knew what they were doing in the military. I didn't really get off into it because it was federal, but I didn't know that was like I didn't know that was happening. So essentially, if you're going through all these hormones, and this is I'm assuming gay man, LGBT, saying that those hormones mess with their mental capacity. Now, I would argue it's kind of already something going on in there. Don't come for me. I'm just saying, anybody that thinks that, like, legitimately thinks that there's something that they're not. And I'm not saying cross-dressing. I'm not talking about being gay. I'm not talking about who you prefer to sleep with. I'm talking about when you fundamentally think that you are something else that you're not. Then I think that's something we need to search into, but they're attacking the kids, and that is really not good. We can get off into that later, another whole video.
Were DEIA orders that had to do with agencies that have nothing to do with the military.
Yes, they do. Yes, they absolutely do.
The FDA, they just revoked the ability of the Air Force to teach Air Force members about the Tuskegee Airmen.
Well, we're not.
What are we talking about here?
Okay, well,
Honestly, like they're rewriting history.
Okay, so apparently that guy doesn't know that. That is not true. They took out anything that's not military related. So it wasn't just, and they didn't even take out the Tuskegee Airmen context. That is taught. What they did was took all the race narratives out. They took anything that doesn't have anything to do with combat, making them warriors, ready to fight for this country. They took that out.
well, that's your perspective, right? But at the end of the day, if a person
Tuskegee Airmen, we can all agree, existed, right?
Just listen to this. If you were racist, right, and you were an employer, and if you wanted to absolutely be racist and exercise that, you would. I think DEI sort of prevents people from seeing the reality. If a person truly wanted to hire you based on your intellect, based on your skill set, they would. DEI essentially provides tax cuts. For the end of the year, when you create your tax returns, they give you a tax credit for hiring someone who is black or a person of color. I don't know if you knew that.
In these agencies?
In agencies and private
In government
businesses.
agencies, they don't get tax cuts for hiring people
And
of
the other
color.
thing I
This
wanted
is
to-
Yeah, but they
just
definitely get
technical
scored by
discrimination.
The other thing I want to kind of state here is that I've realized that a lot of the times with the liberals is that you guys push for example, for DEI and people of Latino or Hispanic descent. And a lot of the times what you don't realize is you're actually doing more harm than good by putting them in positions where you make them believe that it's based on the color of their skin. It's based on...
DEIA does not is not
It's based on merit. DEI emphasizes color, skin color, physical
it
attributes.
says that the people who work in your agency, it's about anti-discrimination.
Discrimination against what?
Against people who may have different cultural mores, may have different...
But that's irrelevant to a job, right? It should be based on merit. And that is the emphasis
People
here.
get hired as a merit, but if the DEI,
not if you
excuse
get
me,
a
if the
tax
DEI, I'm talking about Trump's rescission of
If
these
you
orders
received a
on
tax
these
cut as
agencies.
an employer, wouldn't you hire a person of color?
Dude,
If you could pay them less?
listen, we're talking about government agencies that do not get tax cuts. Government agencies,
They don't.
no,
Yes,
these
they
are,
do. They absolutely do.
I'm talking about
Every
parts of-
private and public sector gets tax cuts when you hire a person of color.
Government agencies don't pay taxes. Government agencies are funded by the government.
That is not true. That is not true. And you know what? I think the whole juxtapose of this entire conversation.
What month is this?
This is
Government agencies are funded by the taxpayers. That's the whole issue. They're making taxpayers pay for a bunch of things. That's why we get a say. That's why we get angry. That's why we get upset when we find out that they are transitioning fish.
January.
Okay, so we can agree on that. The FDA does not pay taxes. It does not get a tax cut because it doesn't pay taxes. DEIA forces them as an agency to say, if you have a job opening, you must do your best efforts to make sure that every
I like that. I
part
love
of
me a
society.
buzzword. You must do your best effort. I love that buzzword.
Okay,
Because
pause.
you feel like you have to. You're pressured
Pause.
to.
Yes.
You shouldn't be pressured to hire someone based on skin color.
No, not to hire someone on skin color, but put up notice about that the job exists. Make sure that you put it in different communities so that you have as wide an application pool as possible.
And therefore you get
All
tax
right.
cuts.
All right, return to
At
your
the
seat.
end of the year when you file taxes, you get a tax cut for hiring someone who speaks
Please
a different
return to your
language or
seat.
different skin color.
I don't know how to respond to that.
I would like to.
So there's really nothing to respond to. So I don't know why, why they want to push this. It's not good for their community. Because you see what's happening now. You got black people, some black people you'll have, and I don't care what they say, feeling like, did I get in here just because I'm black? Now, some of them don't care. They just trying to get in where they fit in. Just like as if you would get hired somewhere, your friend or your mom, like nepotism. So they get in where they fit in, but they don't care. But some people do want to get in their own merit. Some people do want to have that confidence in knowing that they worked hard, they studied hard, and they did their best for that job. Because then you know that your job can be somewhat secure because you would be doing your dang own thing. So you don't have to worry about it because you're producing. You're producing. So I would argue that DEI in the context that it was used in, because there's also racial discrimination against whites. That's why those universities got sued. They had to take away affirmative action because guess what? It was only benefiting, it was being racist against the Asians. DEI was only benefiting white women. So, you tell me. But with that being said, you do all that to do this.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion in the private sector.
One of the managers. This is. And I'm retiring in 5 days. Yes.
So what he did, and we all know who this is, he found him an opportunity to get him another grift, to get him some more shows, to get booked on more things with his organization and to boost his organization's fundraising so he can get his $1 million in bonuses. Yes, that's what he brought in from his Action Nonprofit. Action Nonprofit, yeah, that's the name of it. Action Nonprofit or something like that. But this is what he do. He's a grifter. So he used that opportunity, the whole DEI and everything, took all these people, and this the backstory. I'm sure you heard about it, which was called a buy-in because apparently they was trying to let Costco know they was proud of them for not taking away the DEI. Now, he gave, I think, 100 or 100 something, close to 100 people gift cards with $100 and something to go in this Costco. Now, I always said, you know, it's a grift, because if this was about the Black community, if they was being mad about Black, and if he actually really cared about the Black community, what he would have done, and I'm sorry because I'm just staring at his ratchet head, what he would have done is took them to Black-owned stores. They would have took him to Black businesses. That's what he would have done. So with that being said, let's just see what they're doing.
All right, y'all, don't tear up my floor.
They're on your side. Diversity, equity, and
It's all a photo op. So check this out, though. So he did all that, and this is the results. Hold on, not that.
The companies who are abandoning DEI.
Now this here is Black Conservative Perspective, and he had posted this and found this little video. Come to find out, he took all them people to that Costco, gave them their money, and the people didn't even buy nothing. All them people, and they just walked out. Watch this.
Market share of Costco grow to show these other companies who are abandoning DEI that, hey, this is bad for business. It's good for business to have DEI, bad for business not to have DEI, right? That's the whole point, right? And this is what they did, right? This is the buy-in.
Costco. Shop at Costco. Shop at Costco. Shop at Costco.
Yeah, so you got all these people with cell phones out, walking through Costco, taking up space, okay? Now, this is important because these individuals, while they are in Costco, they're not buying anything, right? Look at them walking through self-checkout with nothing. Nothing. They have nothing at all. So the people that are actually supposed...
All them people ain't bought nothing, walking out the door. So what they do with the gift card?
Supposed to be buying stuff in the store that actually want to shop, they can't shop because you have these race hustlers and their followers crowding the store for a photo op. And none of them are buying anything at all, right? None of them are buying anything. They're not buying anything. Again, somebody tell me, somebody please explain, how is this good for business? How is this good for business? It's so embarrassing, guys, that after they got out, one of Al Sharpton's associates had to beg the attendees to actually go and buy something. Watch this.
Not shop. Please. The story will be you all didn't shop. Go back and shop.
Oh, did you hear that, lady?
Please, you all didn't shop. Go back and shop.
And she bugging up too. People, what are we doing? How y'all gonna do what they doing now, boycott and all that? And they with the boycotts got the money, and that's supposed to be a buy-in because Black people are hypocrites. They cannot stick together. They want their gift cards. They ain't studying what Al Sharpton talking about. They want them gift cards. But they went there and followed that man, all them people up in that store, taking up the store and then buy a darn thing. And if you remember when they first went in there, the manager said, "Don't tear up my store." Baby, they didn't. That is mad crazy. Wow. But yeah. So That's your DI. That's y'all leader. That's your Al Sharpton. That's who y'all continue to follow. Ain't nothing but a big grift. Do you know, like I said, Al Sharpton get rich off of this. So, and he ain't the only one. So, and now you got the whole jazz. Don't even get me talking about ghetto jazz. Jasmine Crockett. I might do a video on her. But I do want to go back over to Jubilee because I told you I want to watch 2 videos on this. And this man going to try to challenge him on religion because for some reason they use Christian as a slander when you're a Trump supporter. So let's watch this.
Hi.
Hey,
How are you?
good. How you doing?
Okay. When it comes to DEI,
Hold on. Let me get up here. We seeing you, buddy.
Hire someone on skin color, but put up notice. But the
cuts.
All right.
informed you. I don't have a.
Cuts.
All right. Return to
At
your
the
seat.
end of the year, when you file taxes, you get a tax cut for hiring someone who speaks a
Please
different
return to your
language or
seat.
different skin color.
I don't know how to respond to that.
I would like to touch on the religious fundamentalist aspect.
Yeah.
Are you an atheist?
I'm a Reformed Jew. I don't have a strong belief in the existence of God, but I don't think that religion in and of itself is bad.
Okay, so what's wrong with religious fundamentalists? So like when you said trans rights and women's rights or something like that?
Well, the problem I have with religious fundamentalists, and really more, I guess it's really theocrats,
Okay.
is that they want to impose their morality that comes from their religion on the rest of us, and I don't.
But morality, from your view, is going to be a preference, right? It's not morality; it's a preference.
What's
So morality without a foundation is going to reduce you to a preference.
well, I have a foundation for my morality.
Which is what?
It's a humanist vision of what basically creates as little suffering as possible for as many people.
Okay, so you're like a consequentialist, utilitarian.
I don't really bother myself with being a consequentialist or a utilitarian.
And that's the problem with Democrats nowadays, and especially the far left liberals, the progressives. They don't believe in God. They don't have a foundation. That's why they can be okay with boys in the bathroom. That's why they can be okay with men and women's sports. That's why they could be okay with children having sex changes. Like, are we kidding right now? But that's why it all comes down to that. And they always talk about separating church and state, but they really didn't. Like, they try to say that, but they know, how are you going to be implement policies that would infringe on somebody's religious beliefs? So you're not separating church and state. And I will argue that maybe we don't need to, because this is what happens: the demoralization of the society.
It's always going to reduce you to a preference. So if you say that killing is wrong and I say it's right, you would really have no contention with that.
Well, no, I don't base my understanding of civil society on religion. And so we have a civil society.
Okay.
We have laws that we have decided as a society in a
Yes.
democratic way. And for
Perfect.
some people, it's okay for it to be informed by their religion. That's okay.
Okay, perfect. So if tomorrow society comes together and we say, hey, trans folks don't deserve rights, you would be okay with that?
No, I would be against it, but I mean, it would be
It would be morally right under your
not
view.
morally right. No. I'm not
Okay.
talking about morals
Okay,
here.
so here's where I'm getting to, right? Religious foundations provide an ethical framework for one to live their life off
I
of.
believe you can have an ethical framework without religion.
And if we take the leftist view to its logical tail end, to its extreme view, you have low reproductive birth rates, you have a reproductive dead end, so two men together can't reproduce unless they have to take from a healthy straight couple. Religion provides this foundation where you do prioritize the nuclear family.
So do you have a problem with gay people being married?
It's not that I have a problem, I just don't see a justification for why they ought to be gay outside of it just feels good. Can you give me another justification for it?
Well, I think maybe that's the way they were born.
Okay, what about pedophiles? Are they born that way?
They may be, yeah.
Okay, so should we let a pedophile off the hook since they were born that way?
No, I think we as a society has decided.
Should implement duties to prevent them from acting on that innate urge, correct?
Got him. The logic is flawed. is flawed. Like, you cannot create all these different narratives and play mental gymnastics and then have this logic, but then over here say it's not. If kids can't get tattoos, if kids can't drive, kids can't drink till they 21, like none of these things can happen. Oh, but they can decide their sex, their gender. And I know y'all will try to act like them two different things. I don't want to hear that. Ain't nobody going with that change definition mess y'all doing.
Well, I think between consenting adults, it's a different thing than.
Okay, so you're okay
planning
with
on
a
children.
45-year-old dad with a 19-year-old daughter as well? Incest.
No.
If they consent, you're okay with that?
No, I think society has also determined that it's like it's not beneficial.
Right, there's
for-
duties and obligations that we have. So religion provides those duties. Life isn't about
Well, but
freedom
also
and
I can-
exercising what you want.
I mean, well, you want to impose your religious doctrine
No,
on me,
because
and I don't want that.
you just admitted we need duties. We have responsibility as a society to keep us functioning, to keep us thriving. Your leftist view, the liberal view, doesn't provide anything besides it just makes me feel good. Religion does. So what's your argument?
What's my argument as to why I don't want
You have no
your
contention.
religion to? Well, because first of all, I don't think that you have the right to corner what God is telling us is right or wrong. And there are differences between religions. And so my argument is, like, you're not going to keep halal or kosher, right? I mean, I don't believe that someone has a corner on religious truth. And the reason why we have a democracy is because we didn't want a king. And the kings came from the idea that their God said that they're the ones who's supposed to be king. And so we can disagree on this. I don't want to live in a country that is ruled by religious fundamentalism.
And if I do, you have no issue with that.
And no. And this is why I say, under Trump, yes, you have won.
Yes.
You have a
Only
bunch
male
of Christian.
and female. You're right.
You have a
You
Christian
won.
nationalist,
Yes,
and
which is necessary.
And so I concede the point that under Trump, your Christian nationalism has gained an advantage
Yes.
under this.
Sorry, we're going to
And
have
so
more
I'm-
kids. We're going to have less abortions. We're going to have more family. We're going to have stable family households. Sorry about better
Trans
education.
people, gay people should be outlawed.
They should be straight. They should be straight.
Women should be secondary to their husbands.
Women should submit
right?
to the husbands.
Women
That doesn't
should
mean
submit to the
that doesn't mean they are
husbands.
slaves.
Right,
It doesn't mean they are
I
slaves. It means they are
understand.
protected.
You
Okay,
got
let
a
me ask you then. Let me
hierarchy.
ask you.
No.
Should women be drafted? Should women be drafted?
Listen, I think
If they're equal, should they be drafted?
I think this is the vision that you have, and I think Trump supports it.
Yes.
I think the Christian nationalists he has throughout his government are all going to work towards your vision.
Yes.
And my hope is that when people look at this, they say, hey, wait a second. I don't want my life to be dictated by the notion of a Christian nationalist prescription. Now, you may win out. I mean, certainly, like if you look at a country like Iran, they have a theocracy there, and that. And apparently that's, good for them if they want it.
My final point is whenever
but
we
I
see,
don't want to live in a
My final point is
theocracy.
whenever we see people live out Christian values to its full extent, we see a great society. When we see people deviate from that, that's where all the problems arise.
All right,
I
pause.
think you are.
Boom. I mean, I don't agree with like everything he said towards the end there. I mean, those his views. Like, I get what he's saying, but for right now, my issue is leave the kids alone. Leave the kids out of it. And why do they always use Christians or Christian nationals? Like, what is that? What is that? As a slander. If you're a Christian, you love God, or you believe in Jesus, but you also love your country. I mean, those are two words. That's the only thing I can get to it. But if you have not already, thank you for staying to the end. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about this. Do we need DEI? Do you like Al Sharpton? And what do you think about the atheist and the Christian? And let me know what you think about that aspect of everything in these parties. Without that being said, I'll see you later.
Oh, oh, oh.